Hey, it's Zach again, making a new video because it's now November 9th of 2011 and I haven't made a video in a millennia, as in 2 months, something like that. So, yeah, and also I have a massive paper I should be writing right now. So, I don't know if you've noticed, but these videos always seem to happen when I have homework I should be doing. But yeah, I really don't feel like working on that beast of a paper right now. So instead, we're making a new video for you all to enjoy or ignore. Yep. Anyway, let's see. So, like I said, today's November 9th. It's a little over 5 months on T now. Um, and I think this time I'm going to talk some about, I guess, some of the social stuff aspects I've been experiencing instead of, because I've talked a lot about the physical stuff that's been going on, and yeah, that's pretty much the same, just continuing, and I feel better and better every day, and that's awesome. So yeah, today I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the social stuff that's been going on because I'm finally starting to pass often enough that I'm experiencing the social aspects of it, and it's been really interesting. Um, like for one, I'm always surprised when people actually gender me correctly, when strangers get my gender right. When I get sir or he or whatever. Because I don't know, I have this moment of like, wait, you don't know me. I haven't told you that I'm trans. Oh, you actually think I'm okay? Okay. That whole moment of like, wait, you got it right, and you don't even know it, but I passed. So that's always a really exciting moment. Um, so that's cool, and but yeah, I'm always surprised when that happens. Sometimes going to the bars and whatnot, it's a little weird. Like they take a lot longer with my ID now than they used to. Get a lot of confused looks as they look at Deanna Marie. And, what? Okay. And then I had a guy the other day called me sir, checked my ID, and then continued to call me sir, which means he obviously didn't look at my ID, but that was cool with me. I was like, hey, cool. Um, you're still getting my gender right, even though you just saw my legal name and my gender marker. Anyway, awesome. Yeah, so that's been interesting. I kind of wonder because like at work, a lot of people who worked there before obviously know, and so I wonder, with a lot of the new employees, who knows and who doesn't. So that's kind of something I find myself wondering about often, because a lot of the employees that have been around for a while will, slip with my pronoun or my name or whatever. And then also, I guess it's hard for me to judge how well I'm passing versus how well I'm not. So, part of me is wondering, oh, how well am I passing, and who knows, and who doesn't, and, stuff like that. Most of the new employees get my name right and my pronoun right, but I don't know, I'm curious to know who knows and who doesn't, about that I'm trans. But that's not really something you can ask some people. But yeah, so that's been interesting. Let's see. There's been a real difference, I guess, in the way people treat me, and that's been interesting. And some of me wonders, like, how much of that has to do with, appearing male versus appearing female, versus, or, before I was pretty quickly pegged as queer, whereas now I like to think I don't stand out as much as queer. I mean, right off the bat. But so I wonder how much of that is a male-female thing versus a queer, not queer, or obviously queer and not quite so obviously queer thing. So yeah, I don't know. But like there hasn't been much difference in the way people my own age treat me. That seems pretty steady. I don't know. I don't know if gender's just not as big a deal to our generation, or things like that. But especially people like my parents' age and older, that's been real interesting. Like, men in general are a lot more aggressive and, have no issues just kind of shoving me out of the way, or they speak a lot more harshly to me than they did before, and that's really interesting. Women, on the other hand, are a lot nicer. Um, and yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's kind of interesting, like, the male privilege that exists that I'm starting to experience that I didn't realize I didn't have before. But, now that I have it, it's like, whoa. So that's been, yeah, kind of a new experience. The stuff I can get away with now, too. Like, I've pulled a lot of shit lately, and people just kind of let me get away with it, which, I need to get myself in check on that, because that's not cool. Um, but yeah, that's been interesting. Also, I guess just kind of what people's expectations are for guys versus girls. Like, before if somebody asked me a question, I said I don't know, the response was usually, oh, well, here's the answer. Now if I say, if a stranger asks me a question, I say I don't know, I usually get these weird looks and these, well, why don't you know, and you're expected to know this, and I don't really know how to explain it, but it's definitely, what's expected of me has been different. Yeah, so, and just learning how to move through the world as a man too has been tough. Because I was socialized as a girl, and people's expectations of you as a girl or a guy is different, and the way in which I can speak to men or women now is different. Like the way I'm expected to speak to people, because I don't know. I think part of it was growing up in a small town where being queer was not okay. I learned to be a lot more stiff and, I don't know, professional, I guess, when talking to women, because I was so afraid in high school of being perceived as hitting on them. So I always, so I try and maintain like more of a distance, I guess, with women, and realizing that I don't have to do that anymore. And they just get confused when I'm talking to them that stiffly and that, professionally, and where I had my guard up, because I was, and I was always afraid of being perceived as hitting on them, and that wasn't acceptable. But realizing, okay, it's kind of acceptable now, and it's okay for me to be friendly towards them. I don't have to be, so stiff and uptight. And then talking to guys, I have to change the way I talk to guys too. And part of that's like a safety thing, but part of it's, because before I could be, friendly and outgoing and all that with guys, and it was just perceived as, hey, being friendly. But now I think a lot of them are kind of taken aback when I'm, friendly or outgoing, and they take it as flirting. And so it's just trying to relearn, I guess, social norms and what's acceptable and what's not, and what's going to make people uncomfortable versus what's not. And that's been a struggle, so so that's been really interesting. Learning how to move through the world differently and deciding, what social norms I want to follow and which ones I want to be like, well, I don't care. Who needs that, So I guess, learning how to move through the world. And I didn't realize, I guess, a lot of how different people's expectations of the different genders are now until I've, been on both sides. So yeah, that's been kind of cool, really interesting. Yeah, and that's pretty much all I've got to say. I should probably think about writing this paper. I don't really want to. I wrote like half of it this morning because I woke up at 5 and couldn't go back to sleep. So I busted a good portion of it out. But now I'm tired and I just kind of want to go back to bed. But the paper's due tomorrow, so I should probably write it. Anyway, yeah, that's all I've got for today. I'll maybe do these more often, maybe not. Maybe I'll just say I will and then won't. Yeah, but anyway, hope everybody's doing good, and have a lovely evening. Adios.